wanna see you. My main girl, I thank God I get to see you. My day ones, let's post up, need to see you. To my baby girls, I promise daddy always see you. You all in, well bet, yeah, I'ma see you. Got all that pride, but ain't nobody wanna be you. Yeah, well, gramming up, yeah. Posting a selfie so everyone see you. Well, growing up, yeah. Daddy was flicking so he didn't see you. Well, run it up, yeah. We on the court while you sit in the bleachers. Well, bump it up, yeah. Turn it up more with the drums of the speakers. Drip, drip, got that wet on my wrist, cause we respect women. Honey, she a queen bee and she need me to protect the image. Finna cop a Tesla and a fitter, cause I got that checking with me lately, cause I'm thinking crazy, getting tested. But all of my demons are weak, yeah. In a new state every week, yeah. Make it like 60 a show. Stacking my Bibles in threes, yeah. Said I'm crazy, I might be. My city stand right behind me. My queen is my Aphrodite. Got the whole fam beside me. We the boys on the south side, yeah, I see you. Mafia up on the north side, yeah, I see you. My blood fam, it's been a while, wanna see you. My main girl, I thank God I get to see you. My day ones, let's post up, need to see you. To my baby girls, I promise daddy always see you. You all in, well bet, yeah, I'ma see you. Got all that pride, but ain't nobody wanna be you. Yeah, well said, ooh, yeah, wait, well, like Afro Man wrote a Coupe de Ville. I'm like, ooh, yeah, wait, well, like Sam Crow, but I'm real grim. I'm like, ooh, yeah, wait, well, all this cash flow, but I can't swim. I'm like, ooh, yeah, wait, well, out in Buffalo, let's meet at Tim's and like, New Island, stay coasting. Can't find and stay ghosting. My silence is smoking, outshining the ghosting. Headlining the shoulder, reclining my throne. Fine dining, you know that. Co-signing my flow, I'm the ruler, I'm known, yeah. All of my shooters stay close. Yeah, all of my jewelry cold, yeah. All this foodery, oh yeah. Lex Luthor, my role model. One queen and I throw models. Drip wet, so I need goggles. Let me find out what you want. Let me know, I'ma throw you bone and watch you go. You didn't even believe in this dream. You tried it once and then you choke. Cause y'all say sleep and I say woke. Making stacks and y'all still broke. Sipping on that Henny Coke. You laughing, I ain't telling jokes. That we the boys on the south side, yeah, I see you. Mafia up on the north side, yeah, I see you. My blood fam, it's been a while, wanna see you. My main girl, I thank God I get to see you. My day ones, let's post up, need to see you. To my baby girls, I promise daddy always see you. You all in, well bet, yeah, I'ma see you. Got all that pride, but ain't nobody wanna be you. We go from humble to flexing, you DM, I'm texting, she hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing, the king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them, a press for 11, I gave them a stack. I use these words as my weapon, the demon, the session, we killing the pack. We go from humble to flexing, you DM, I'm texting, she hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing, the king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them, a press for 11, I gave them a stack. I use these words as my weapon, the demon, the session, we killing the pack. We slaying witches and demons, making a list like I'm Steven. This ain't the Garden of Eden. Playing this game, it's not even. I come with soldiers and legions. That is my name that you speaking. All of y'all live for the weekend. I don't know what you believe in. Y'all got the diamonds and I got the rubies. She rocking the two-piece and look like a snack. Stay out of trouble, but I got a new scheme. I'm sipping on wine while they sipping on Axe. I done told y'all if I see it, I cop it. You see what we rockin', we drippin' all black. You being off, you seen this deposit. We brought a few bags and there's more in the back. I got riches storing up in heaven. I'm a big gorilla, I got ape aggression. Young and jaded like an adolescent, I'm slave.
Swole Normuth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling.
The Basson.
Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Test, 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 testing, 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 test, 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 testing, 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 testing testicles, testing testicles, testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 1177 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, busters, hustlers, and yas hoes? Thank you so much for joining Papa Swolio on a Saturday Swole Day. It's Swole Day now. It's no longer Saturday. It is Swole Day. I hath renameth it, so thank you for changing and renaming with me. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm stoked. What's going on, Instagram? What's up, YouTube? What's up, the tubes? Tube stars? What's good? I think it'd be weird to see you wear a shirt. I do now and again. The other day I did. Sometimes in interviews I do, because I'm just not like, hey, you want to see my nips while we Skype? It's kind of a little bit strange. Like, you guys can do stuff while you're watching and listening. You can do other things. You're probably watching on your TV or something, and then on your phone, or you're doing something else. You're working while you're watching. But then I'm just Skyping with someone with my shirt off. It's like, hey, you want to do a one-on-one? Nips to nips? You want to do nips to eyes? It's kind of a little bit strange, I think. No, it's okay. Sometimes I'm cold and I'm chilly, but oftentimes I'm not, because I'm in fucking Florida and it's hot as shit. So let's see what's going on. Put a shirt on, McConaughey. All right. Some gains. Swole Day is a good renaming. I'll take it. Yes. Well, today is a mobility yoga day for me. Things got pushed back, so I am going to, it's kind of like raining outside, and I really like the sound of rain. It's very relaxing. So taking advantage of that cool, misty air and some nice raindrops while you're doing yoga is the shit, is the tits. So today, as you see on the board, resticles, today we're going to redefine the rest day. We're going to talk about rest days. We're going to talk about what rest days mean, what they should mean, how you should be thinking about and approaching your rest day. Super, super important, and it usually gets lost in translation. Most people, when they rest, they don't really rest, or they completely rest. And I think that there's a lot to be said for off in terms of your routine, in terms of your resistance training. So when I talk about rest, I am not saying that you don't do anything. I'm not saying that you don't train. I'm just saying that you don't beat yourself up with intensity. And that's the way you should be thinking about your off days. Whatever you're doing, I don't care if you're a marathon runner, you do CrossFit, you like to swim, you like to bike, whatever your training is, you're going to do whatever it is you do intensely. If you do rock climbing, there's some days when you might just go and work technically and just kind of fuck around, or you go to the indoor wall, the climbing wall, and you practice in there. And then sometimes you go on a trip and you fucking just climb like a beast for 3 fucking days. So you don't train super hard. You don't necessarily go and do that massive 1, 2, 3 day climbing weekend or something all the time. You have lower levels of training or more regular training, and then you'll have, maybe you go for a hike, you have days off. So you have your intense competitions and your PRs, your hard workouts, you have your lighter workouts, and then you have your workouts that are just not really directed at what you normally expose your body to. When it comes to fitness, let's see, I'm going to explain what I do, because I do a lot for my training, but it's not all the same. It's not all going to the gym. A lot of people think either you go to the gym or you don't go to the gym. You lift weights or you don't lift weights. You lift weights or you don't. Well, now we have to look at the different shades of getting fucking yoked. We have to look at the different shades of maintaining fitness. We have to look at the different layers and the different nuances, kind of like a rainbow, those blurred colors in between. You get the primary colors, and then you have those little in between grays and light yellows and oranges and things that are kind of off. They're mixes, because when you are training intensely, that's what you're forcing your body to adapt. When you're training intensely, that's the overload. That's overload. Think about what that word means. Overload. It's a load, but it's over what you can handle. You are putting a load on your muscles. Now, you can handle an overload to a point, but then when we progressively overload, when we're adding more weights, when we're adding more tension, when we're doing more lengthy sets or repetitions, more time under tension or more volume heavier weights, more reps, more sets, whatever we're doing, that is the overload, and we're increasing that gradually over time so our body can adapt and grow and develop and get stronger and get more endurance, whatever that overload is. That is taxing on the body. That's taxing on the body. When you have overload, your body is stressed. It causes trauma. It causes trauma. That's where you get sore. That's why you get sore, because you're causing the body to break down muscle tissue. And then your body has to repair that, and you go through that repair recovery. So we want to take a rest day. We're overloading our bodies. We want to take a rest day. Our body is tired and fatigued and needs a little bit more recovery rather than this just vicious cycle that never ends of just fucking smashing. Our body needs a little bit, it needs some time off. Okay. So we want to take a rest day. We have rest days where we back off from the resistance. But the difference between a rest day and an active recovery day, and a recovery day, rest is obviously rest. Right now, essentially I'm resting. I'm working. We're doing the daily Swole. We're making some fucking podcast gains, but recovery is what we want to talk about now. Rest day means kind of off. We say off day. Hey, I'm off on Tuesday. I'm not training today. I'm off. Are you off, or is it time for you to switch gears and do a different type of recovery and do a different type of training? So it's not rest that you want. It's off your intensity. Rest has to, the name has to change. I think the name has to change from rest to active recovery. Now, let's define what active recovery is, because I just mentioned you don't want to completely take off. You don't want to rest and do nothing. You want to actively recover. So now that we know we want to change, it's different from the high intensity training. We want to actively recover. I just mentioned that. Okay, so no more rest. We want to actively recover. What is active recovery? It's your training habits, whether it's methods that you use. I'm going to try to give a very broad definition. Methods that you can use that will aid or facilitate your repair and recovery in your soft tissue, psychologically, whatever, all those components. It's whatever modalities you use. And I have to be very broad because for you, an active recovery day may be foam rolling. It may be going and getting a deep tissue massage. It might be going in the sauna and then going in cryotherapy, or doing a lot of stretching, doing yoga, doing mobility workouts, going for a nice long walk with your dog, going to the playground with your kids and just going out and being active and moving and going and doing some deep squats while they're playing on the swings, and maybe doing a little hang on a pull-up bar at the park just to freaking stretch out a little bit and move. Just recover. You're doing stuff. You're not a fucking lump of just, you're not just a fucking bag of just guts and poop and hair and just skin. You're a living, breathing creature. Fucking move your body. So that's going to help. It's going to help repair the tissues. It's going to help the fluids get through your system. It'll feel good to go and get outside. Like, this is the opportunity to go and do your random exercise and do like a general group exercise, go do a Zumba class. I mean, this is kind of like maybe your entertaining fitness day, dare I say it. And that could be an active recovery day. It should be targeting actual recovery. There should be a purpose behind it. That's the only difference. For people that are trying to lose weight and do all this stuff and they're just going and doing Zumba all the time, come on, let's be more effective and let's use your time more wisely. I never say that if you like Zumba, you're a piece of shit. I never say if you like Zumba, oh, you're a fucking terrible person. But there are a lot of people out there trying to lose weight and fucking trying to like improve their health, and they're doing Zumba as their primary source of activity. Use that for the entertainment. Doesn't mean you can't sweat. Doesn't mean it can't help. But let's use some time wisely. You want to make sure that you're using your time to the fullest. Use your time. Multiply your time. If you're going to have an hour to exercise and that's the only hour you have that day, let's do the most effective form of training so you can make the most fucking progress. Add that kind of entertaining stuff in your living room. Do it casually. Do it once a week for your active recovery. That's where I really mean when I talk about fitness shouldn't be fun. It's not fucking entertainment. It's work. It depends on what you want. If you really want results, it's work. Like anything else. You have to put in effort with the recovery. You can't just sit around. It's work. It's effort. Get yourself back up to standing upright position. Get yourself back on top so you can train again. Don't just let nature take its course. You're going to get stiff. Not to mention you're increasing your risk of injury and all these other things by not balancing out all that intensity with training. Cover your bases. Cover your bases. You have to put in as much time. What do you think growth is? What do you think growth is? When you build muscle, it's because you recovered. Building muscle is recovery. Building muscle is what happens from rest. Building muscle doesn't happen from breaking down. You're breaking down. You're causing overload. You're breaking your shit down. What do you think builds muscle? The repair portion. And a lot of you don't give two flying fucks about your recovery, and it shows. You're severely stifling your progress if you don't fucking recover. If you don't recover properly, you are not going to last. You're going to get hurt. You're going to stifle your growth and your repair. You're going to overtrain as a byproduct of under recovering because you are not paying as much attention as you should be. You're not being proactive in your recovery. So as a result of under recovering, you will be overtraining. There are a lot of different ways you can train hard. Some people have a very high output and you think, well, how come they don't overtrain? Well, they progressively overload. Their body has adapted. And usually the people that train the hardest, that do these ridiculous workouts, that work out twice a day and all that stuff, they are fanatically obsessed with recovery. People aren't working out hard twice a day. These elite athletes, people aren't at this level or whatever they are in their profession, in their passion, whatever it is, if they don't obsessively approach recovery. It depends on what kind of priority and what kind of level you want to get to. Depends on what priority you have to get to where you want to go. If you have lofty goals, you're going to have lofty effort. Doesn't that make sense? If you want great, amazing fucking results, you have to put in as much effort into your recovery as you do your training. How often do we focus so much on our training program? Do I need more variety? Should I do incline bench? I want to work my upper chest. I want to work my lower butt. I want to work my upper butt, my side butt, my upper side butt, my upper east side butt. Everyone's trying to fucking micromanage their physical training, but no one's practicing yoga or meditating or going to the sauna and fucking foam rolling and spending time recovering. Everyone's trying to add a workout. What do you think about 2-a-days? What do I think about 1-a-day, training harder, not being a bitch, and then doing your recovery properly? You don't need to train twice a day. There are a lot of people out there training twice a day that aren't even training once a day properly. You might need twice a day if your 1-a-day sucks shit. You don't need to train that much. You don't. You need to make your training more efficient and more effective. And guess how you make your training more effective? You ready? You ready for this? You make your training, you multiply, you give yourself exponential benefits from your training if you're focusing on what you're doing when you're not training. When you're at the gym, if you go to the gym 5 days a week, 6 days a week for an hour, still over 90%, I think that's proper math, over 90% of your week, you are not in the gym. So what do you think is getting you the most progress? What you do in the gym or what you do outside the gym? Doesn't mean you shouldn't be training like a fucking animal. That makes a huge difference. But I think it's undeniable that the vast majority of your time is spent outside the gym, not in the gym. So by default, the recovery is more important outside because guess what you're not doing in the gym? When you go in the gym, you're training. One fucking thing. One fucking thing you're doing when you're in the gym, you're training. What do you do when you're outside the gym? You're drinking water. You're eating. You're meal prepping. You're dealing with your work, with your kids, with, with your friends, with coworkers, your outside social life, all the nutrition, the sleep, the foam rolling, the yoga, all that shit, everything that we talk about here on the show. One of the reasons why I don't always talk about training, I don't always talk about the gym, I don't always talk about the physical aspect of training, because 95% of everything that gets you results doesn't even take place in the fucking gym. That's a small portion of it. It's everything, but it's also next to nothing. You have to think about it in both ways. Obviously, you're not going to get massive if you're not creating that stimulus. So it goes both ways. When you're in the gym, it's 100% of everything that's most important. You're not going to get any of that other 95% unless you get that 5%. Think about that. You're not going to get any of the benefits of that 90% if you don't get that 5% in terms of your training. So you think about it, everything outside needs to really be fucking locked down. You don't think it's important if you're hydrating properly? You don't think it's important if you're eating well? You don't think it's important if you're prepared with your food? You don't think it's important if you fucking sleep? One night's sleep is more than the hours that you spend training all fucking week. The proportion of time that we spend in the gym to outside the gym is astronomical. It's so different. It's very important, but that's why when you get into the gym, you focus, you get your shit done, you get the fuck out. But when you're out, it takes as much consistency. And that's why it takes so much more, because you have 95% ability to fuck up. You have so many more things to juggle and to manage outside the gym. You have so many more things to manage. There's so many more possibilities for things to go wrong, for you to miss puzzle pieces. Maybe you're not sleeping well. Maybe you're not eating well. Well, that's part of that huge 95%. I wonder why you don't get great results. I wonder why you get super sore. I wonder why you don't recover. I wonder why you don't feel good. I wonder why you don't get really big, because you're not doing the 95% of the time the shit that's fucking outside the gym. That's why the meditation's so important. Helps keep your fucking head focused on what you need to do and what's most important and getting your shit done. That's why nutrition's important. That's why sleep is important. All that stuff is important. All of it. All of it's important. You got to stop over. And this is not to say that the training, it's so crazy, because this is such a mind fuck, and I get it. It's such a mind fuck because obviously the training is stupid important, even though it's 5%. It's 100% of that 5 or 10%. It's 100% of it. So you have 100% one thing. So that's why training is so valuable, because of that 10, 5, 10%, whatever the fuck it is, that training, that time you spend in the gym is all of it. Okay? The 90% is all the fucking chaos of life. That's why the gym is so important, because when you go there, you're cutting yourself off from the world. When you go into the gym, that's why if I'm psychologically distracted, I can't focus on my training, because when I go to the training, that's the only thing that I should be thinking about. It's the only thing that I should be paying attention to is my workouts. And I'm trying to get better with it. I'm trying to get better because sometimes I'll pick up my phone and I'll change my song and I'll get involved with something. So I need to practice, and that's just cutting off from the phone and social media. One of the best ways that I found to do it is you bring another phone that just connects maybe to the gym Wi-Fi, or you just get an iPod, no one even knows what that is anymore. Or you put your phone in airplane mode, you leave it in your bag across the gym. You put little walls up so you can't be grabbing your phone every 2 seconds. You set yourself up to unplug more. And when you focus 100% on that short period of time, don't forget about all the stuff outside. So the more we can control our environment, the more we can control that kind of chaos, because it is chaos, whether it rains, whether your kid gets sick, whether your work has some project that's due in 2 days, and you need to get started right now. Do I have time to go to the gym? All that chaos outside, that's why the psychology game, that's why meditation is important, because it helps you organize that. It helps you keep or lock that down, or keep that potentially in check. Because if we can create some kind of order, we have order in the gym, we have order in the 5%, the 10%, but we might not have order outside. So the more control that we can create, a lot of things are outside of our control with life, but the more systems that we can put in place that we can control in terms of how we get our food. That's why making your own food is essential. It really is. Making your own food. If you really want amazing results, you got to make your own food. You got to make your own food. You have to do it yourself, because you can control that. You can control that. You can control it. You can control your food. If you make it yourself, you can control it. That's why it's so important to make your own food. That's why every fucking bodybuilder, someone with a physique, someone with amazing results, they usually are in 100% control of their food. They have that locked down. They don't put it in someone else's hands. They know what they want. They know what they need. They make it. They have it done. You want something done right, you do it yourself. Now, there's some times when you should outsource something, when you can save time, when you can make things more efficient for yourself. But bottom line, you need to have that kind of control, or that ability to create that control. So let me see this. Anthony decided to do the math. Thank you. I appreciate it. 1 hour a day, 5 days a week is only about 3% of the week. So that would be, I guess, 5 days. That'd be 163 divided by 168. I believe there's 168 hours in the week. 3% of the week. So it's less. So it's 3%. So if you do 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, 1 hour a day, 6 days a week, let's say that's 4 or 5%. So I was pretty accurate with that. Okay. That's the number. So does that mean that we are going to not pay attention to our training because it's only 4% of the week? No, it doesn't mean that at all. You're still going to pay attention to your training, of course, because if you don't create that overload, that stimulus, then there's nothing to repair from. What are you repairing? Just the basic functions of the brain, the resting metabolic rate. Okay. But if you're training, your body needs to do action to repair. And that's another thing. Once you train, once you do that 3, 4, 5%, once you do that training for yourself during the week, maybe if it's you train 2 hours, okay, let's say you do 7, 8, even if it's 10%, fuck 90% the rest of the time. When you train, you create that overload in that 5 to 10%, you're causing breakdown that the other 90% also, you're adding another task to everything else. It's not just nutrition. It's not just XYZ. It's all that you're eating anyway. You're going to sleep anyway at some point, whether it was good nutrition or good sleep or bad sleep or good hydration or bad. You were doing all those things. Doesn't mean they were well. But then when you add that kind of stimulus and you do that kind of exercise overload for that 5 or 10%, your other 90% now has to juggle that kind of recovery. It has to catch back up. And that's why the recovery is so important, because if you're training on Monday, on Tuesday, 2 days ago, I was discussing training cycles. In episode, I believe, 1175, I was talking about training cycles and doing 3 days on, 1 day off, ways to do full body workouts within a 3-day or 4-day cycle. And I was talking about how it doesn't have to be 7 days. It could be 8, it could be 9, it could be 10, whatever. And when you think about it, let's say we're doing 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, or 3-1, 3-2, 3-2, 3-1, whatever. So you're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday workouts. So you're training, breaking down on Monday. You're breaking down on Tuesday. You're breaking down on Wednesday. You quote rest, you're doing recovery on Wednesday. Let's say you do everything right. On Thursday, you're doing your recovery. Then on Friday, you go back to doing training again and breaking down. You're not 100% healed from Wednesday to Friday. It's one fucking day. It's 24 hours. You're not completely healed. So if you go on that cycle all the time, you're always sore. You're always damaged. You're never fully recovering. That's why it's important. That's why it's important. That's why it's important to fucking pay attention to recovery, because you're essentially always sore. You're always damaged. You're always broken down. You're always in this situation. Even if you do 3 days on, 2 days off, you're still not going to be 100% on that next day unless you barely trained. If you're doing enough training to cause overload and to, stimulate results, if you're doing enough, you're not going to be recovered 100% after 1 or 2 days. Not 100. Not 100 if you're really training hard enough. You're not going to be 100%. It's only 48 hours or 24 or 36, depending on if you maybe trained late at night one day and then early in the morning, or whenever that really 24-hour period was. Maybe it wasn't a hard 24 or a hard 40. Maybe it was like 36. Maybe it was 62, whatever it is. You're not fully recovered. And you know this because once you actually take a couple days off and you're doing your active recovery and such, and let's say it was 3-4 days, maybe it was a week, you go on vacation, you're like, I'm just going to do yoga. I'm not going to do overload. When you come back to that, even if you do a fraction of what you normally did, even just from a week, your body gets so sore because it gets so used to, it starts adapting to a different stimulus, to not training. When you're training hard regularly, you start to get used to that kind of soreness and pain and discomfort. So you have to understand and keep into perspective what your body feels and what your body is actually experiencing physically, because your perception of your soreness, your perception of how much your body has broken stuff down or how much your body has repaired it's marred by the fact that you get used to those signals. You get used to your body saying, oh, this hurts X amount. If you train hard all the time, that becomes more normal to you. You get used to feeling really sore, so you don't perceive it as being as painful. The first time you trained ever, I was sore for like 3 weeks. I could barely straighten my elbows. I did like a few sets of curls when I was 13, and I could barely straighten out my arms. I did an actual workout with some kid who had weights in his basement because he had an older brother and a father, and we lifted in his basement. He took me through a workout. Great. I remember the exercise I was doing. Holy shit, for a 13-year-old that's never lifted, I did a couple of sets to failure for like bench, and tricep extensions and curls, and he was like spotting me. I don't think we were doing negatives and shit, but fuck me. I couldn't straighten my arms out past like this for 2 weeks, maybe 3. It was really bad. I was scared. I was scared to tell my parents or anyone that I couldn't straighten my fucking arms out. I was so fucking sore. I felt like, it was literally a feeling, I'm never going to straighten my arm out again. It didn't even feel sore. It just didn't move past this point. It was such trauma. I might be exaggerating. It was just I never experienced. I don't know if it was really to that, but I definitely remember like that for at least a week. And I think it was also because now if I had that same soreness, I might be like, oh, that's just normal. But that was the first time I ever experienced it. So I probably remember it as this horrific event, or it might have just been not so bad. I just didn't know what I was feeling. Because again, literally my first time, popped my swole cherry, popped my gains cherry. No, I'm a fucking gain slut. I'm a swole slut. Swole ho. I keep reloading my Amazon. I have a delivery coming, some batteries for my camera, and my neighbor has Alzheimer's and she takes my packages. And if she takes my batteries, I'm going to be fucking pissed. So, and then she doesn't remember. And I see them on her kitchen table. Like, you fucking took my package again. She takes my package. Hard to get upset when you don't have agency, but I'm trying to be patient. But also trying to make sure that she gets in a home. She needs help. That actually segments into some of the stuff that we've been talking about. I think Alan Roberts and I were talking about this a couple weeks ago about Alzheimer's being now termed type 3 diabetes. So they're finding a lot of shit. Finding a lot of shit about high sugar diets and high processed carbs and stuff. I want to buy protein. What's the best? I don't use protein powders. Sen. Christy, I'm a gym rat. Papa Swole got me taking more days off from training. I feel much stronger and pumped. Fuck yeah. Those rest days, though. Those rest days, ho. Oh. Rest day. Papa Swole, yo day. The look of love. We're making gains. Let's see. Here we go. I'll take a couple questions and we'll wrap this potty up and you guys can... Oh, I remember. Let me just hide this question for a second. Tomorrow for episode 1178 is the Sunday Funday Q&A-ness. So tomorrow is Sunday Funday. So make sure you turn on your post notifications and... excuse me. Burpsy. And if you want your question featured, like if you want it to pop up on the screen, I can't do that on Instagram, but it's cool when you ask questions on YouTube, I can flash it up on the screen. So if you watch on Instagram, I highly recommend you also subscribe to the Daily Swole podcast channel on YouTube. That way you can catch the live cast and you can be a part of the stream where everyone watches on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube, and all the comments can be fed together. Instagram's kind of like, the stepchild that no one cares about. I'm just kidding. I like you too. Just saying, if you want the audio, the nice crisp picture, if you want to see some more nips, you get a little bit more of a nip shot on the live stream. So anyway, tomorrow is going to be the Sunday Funday Q&A. So make sure you got your cues so I can give you some brown eye tomorrow. Yeah. Speaking of high sugar pop. Oh, I didn't answer that question. Alexandra Sarafagolu. I'll still do the pod. Hold on. I keep reloading the Amazon page. Yeah, so if it says delivered, I'm literally going to put up the loading screen for a second and I'll come back. If it says delivered, I'm going out there to get my package. You guys can just sit in the waiting room for a second. Is it stressful for newbies to state that you need to have all parts in your life under control? Oh, you're asking me if I say that? Let me say, even if they don't have their shit together, it is still valuable if they lock down nutrition. Is that a question? Is it stressful for newbies to state that you need to have all? That's the goal. I don't even have all parts of my life under. What does that mean to have all parts of your life under control? You're looking for perfection? Doesn't exist. I don't even know what that means. So I don't have all parts of my life under control. Look at me. Look at this fucking guy. Look at my face. Look at me. Do I look like I have my life in control? Look at this fucking guy. Look what I'm doing. The bearded, long-haired fucking psychopath. grunting on live casts. You're asking me. Does that make me a hypocrite? I'm not saying you have to have your whole life under control. You just got to start somewhere. It's actually, you want to do progressive habit forming. Some people can do cold turkey. Some people could be alcoholics and be like, I'm never going to drink again. And 50 years later, they never drink again. Some people can smoke cigarettes and go, boom, cold turkey. And then they don't smoke again. That's willpower. Not everyone has that. That would be a little bit more rare, I would think. A lot of people have relapse. That's why there's relapses. That's why there's a term for it, because it happens. So one of the best ways to go around that is habit forming, but progressively. So you cut out something that you know you can cut out forever. Something kind of fringe, something that you don't really use or that's bad for you, but you don't really have that often. And then you make a rule and you say you cut that out permanently. And then you add something else, and you keep on chipping away at those easy ones. And then you start progressively making more habitual changes. And then the more you do something, it's a habit. Everything's habit. Nutrition's habit, time management's habit, all of it's habit. It's habit forming. Fitness is habit forming. Priorities. You prioritize your habits. Habits, prioritize habits. It's just habity, hobbity-hoo. Oh, it's still out for delivery. Okay. All right, we're clear. If it says delivered, I'm fucking out of here. But I'll leave you all I'll leave you for a second. I'll be right back. I'll have to hit pause. So funny. James Foygeson. My dad is 80 and his strength is failing. Is testosterone replacement an option? You'd have to go to your doctor and get blood work done. I couldn't speak on your dad and his strength failing. I mean, he's 80 years old, so I don't know what his experience is with training or if he's ever has and whatnot. Adam, is creatine a good way to assist bulking? I mean, you find it in meat. Creatine's a safe supplement. You don't need a fancy kind, but it's not going to replace hard work, tons of hydration, lifting. It can assist, but everyone reacts differently to creatine. Some people have higher tolerances, essentially, to put it simply. Nathan, what are your thoughts on Theragun or similar devices? I was going to get one. It's like $600. So there are other kinds, but it's definitely not cheap. They have cheaper models, but like for me, if I was going to get one, I'm not going to go and get like the $299. I'm going to go for the $599, the one that you just... So yeah, I probably will get one. I think they're probably great. They're probably fantastic. You get into areas a lot more. Self-massage is really hard. Foam rolling isn't always ideal for certain areas. So it's another tool. It's portable. It'd be a lot better to travel with that than a big foam roller. Better for doing it yourself. Fuck Insta, come over to the tube. Yo, oh shit. YouTube versus Instagram. Fight. I was going to say, what do you guys like to watch the most? And it's like, well, I guess it's wherever you're watching right now. So I guess I won't. Oh, I'm sorry. Instagram. My goodness. I never pinned the actual title of this episode. That's stupid. Everyone on Instagram's like, what are you doing live, bro? What are you talking about? Let's take one more because tomorrow's the Q&A-ness. So make sure that you tune in. So we'll do one more question. Anthony Stafford. So am I legitimately wasting time, money with whey or pre-workout? I'm on a high protein, no sugar diet. What does that mean, no sugar? Because you get sugar from carbohydrates. So you don't necessarily have to cut out completely there's some sugar in some things. You can't avoid it. Brand new to all this. Well, good, man. Just make sure anytime you're completely eliminating anything, it's, it could be a little bit more rocky. It depends on what your experience is and what your personality is like. Am I legitimately wasting time with whey? No, you're not wasting it completely. Whey protein products, a lot of them are impure. A lot of them they can cause other issues. There's artificial sweeteners. It depends on what your personal experience is and what kind of quality you're getting. You can get some pretty low grade protein powders, and sometimes they have heavy metals and shit like that. There's not a lot of regulation with supplements. And there've been a lot of exposed situations where there's been all these third-party tests and they find far way off percentages than what the companies are claiming. They find other elements like heavy metals inside the protein from manufacturing and such. What about your fat intake? And pre-workout is just really caffeine based. You can use black coffee if you want to kind of make your own pre-workout and you're really going to take a pre-workout. I don't necessarily recommend taking those ones that are just super fringe. I would try to get a more as natural one as possible, meaning just clean, where they don't flavor it, kind of like those raw supplements, or you buy the bags yourself and you weigh it out, you get a micro scale, and then you combine something like that, because they have pre-workouts that are actually pre-packaged that companies make that are stimulant free. So I think it's really not a good idea to consume like 400, like a Bang energy drink is like fucking 400 milligrams of caffeine. A lot of these pre-workouts, because people have adapted to caffeine. Remember when Red Bull used to light people up? Red Bull is like water for people. Monster used to be something that people drank. Now you have to go to Bang or Rain or these fucking things that are just injecting caffeine. So it's a central nervous system stimulant, and you're going to adapt to that. And then it's better for you to have something that is stimulant free, and then drink coffee with it. Where you drink some coffee, you get a little pick me up, or at least you get some antioxidants, at least you have other benefits of coffee, and then you take your stimulant free pre-workout. They don't taste good if you just make it yourself. It's going to taste like shit, but you don't get all the artificial sweeteners and such. It really depends on what you believe in and what you care about. Some people just I don't give a fuck. So what I say about supplements are not going to change anyway, but I like to get my stuff from food. I don't use protein powders. I don't find any need for it. Never eat Larry and Lenny protein cookies. They lied about the macros. I wouldn't eat I wouldn't eat that shit anyway. They could be telling the truth. I wouldn't have that shit. Yeah, all those things are gross. The worse the flavor, the better. Yeah, usually it's funny when you see reviews and people talk about certain pre-workouts. Oh, but it tastes like shit. If it tastes like shit, it probably has what it says it has in it, and it doesn't use a lot of extra flavorings. If it tastes like, wow, this tastes really good, it's delicious, they're putting so much artificial shit in there that it's unreal. They put so much artificial sweetener. Yeah, if you're just getting started with training, you need to focus on your nutrition, your sleep, your hydration, yoga, meditation, all that. You have enough to worry about before you start taking supplements. Get your nutrition locked down, because when you're relentlessly consistent, then if you try one of those supplements, if you try something, you'll actually notice the difference from what you're doing relentlessly. When your life is health-wise a mess and your body is just responding and everything is new, you don't really know at the beginning how to gauge what is helping and what is hurting. That's one of the problems with taking supplements or any kind of things right when you start, because everything is new. Your body's responding to everything. Maybe you don't take supplements for 2 years and you see amazing progress and gains. And then you remember and you realize after 2 years, like, oh, do I need supplements? I've been making amazing progress. You take something else, you don't see the same difference in progress. Like, oh shit, this isn't really helping. Or you hit a plateau after 2 or 3 years of training, and then you try something and kind of gets you going in a different direction. You can see so much progress without taking and spending money on other things. Increase your food intake and your focus on your nutrition and that type of stuff, and then worry about doing those kinds of supplements. Yeah, someone says coffee, creatine, beta-alanine, citrulline malate's another kind of standard in things. Like, these are some of the only ones that have been shown really to have some benefits. And it's not just the benefits, like, do they have any risks? All these stimulants, the hardcore stimulants, that's where a lot of the risk is, because what if they misdose their caffeine and you get some crazy batch and you take that with caffeine and fucking your heart explodes? Didn't some kid die because there was caffeine in his protein powder or some shit? It's like, there could be accidents that no one knows about. These are big factories in other countries, potentially. They're shipping it around the world, and who fucking knows? Coffee is generally coffee. It's always a risk. You're taking a risk walking down the street, driving in a car. There's always a risk, but why don't we mitigate that risk? And it's not always necessary. The risk doesn't always equal the reward, especially when it comes to supplements. But we'll talk more about all this stuff, whatever, tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is the Sunday Funday Q&A. Some people are asking, what time is it going to happen tomorrow? I don't have an exact time for you. Plan more for midday, but just make sure you turn on your post notifications. I will keep you posted. I'll try to keep you posted in my story, but I don't have an exact time frame for the Sunday Funday Q&A. But I would like to do it around midday, but it depends. Usually I'm up super late, so then it's not a good idea for me to say, oh, do it at 9. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to sleep at 5 because I got locked into something. Sometimes that happens, so I'm not discounting that. But tomorrow we'll do it, and I'll let you know my Instagram story. And of course, if you have your post notifications on, you'll get alerted. And you can do that. You hit the 3 little buttons, 3 little dots in the top of the profile on Instagram, on the top right. But on YouTube, make sure you hit the bell. So Daily Swole Podcast on YouTube, hit the bell, and then I'll see you for the Sunday Funday Q&A. I might also send out a big message and then let everyone know. So before we go, tomorrow is the Sunday Funday Q&A. And this week, going to have a massive, amazing slam cast scheduled for Thursday. It's going to be a 3-way slam dunk on Thursday. So I will be telling you more about that this week. Just a little heads up that Thursday evening Eastern time, going to have an amazing cast. 2 of your favorite people are going to be on the podcast at the same fucking time. So it's going to be lit like all the tits. And we'll be talking a lot about it this week. So it's going to be fire. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 1177 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Thanks again for watching. Go to swolenormousx.com for all the links, for all the updates. Go over there, check it out. You're going to love it. And I'll see you tomorrow for 1178. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.